Hey, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the transitional phases you might go through during your trading journey and how it really affected mine. I think it's important to always reflect on your journey and growth and remind yourself that that journey you went through is what's going to push you to reaching those future opportunities and possibilities. So, bringing you all the way back to the end of 2023, when I first got into the stock market for the futures side of everything, I was always so genuinely excited and passionate and just very happy to get into the market. Whether it was the market open, it was London session, it was the middle of the day, if the market wasn't even opened at all, just being on the charts was so exciting for me. And watching other live streamers and traders do their thing, watching people get paid out, I loved it all, right? This further kind of gave me confidence that, hey, this trading thing can really change my life, not only my present and future self, but all of the loved ones around me, and further push me to reach the time and financial freedom that I've always wanted for myself. This chance to work for my own money on my own terms instead of being forced in the traditional path of going the corporate route and being stuck in the rat race. So that's like the first 1 to 3 months of being in the market and trying to figure things out. Even when I'm losing and making some money here, then I'm just so happy. It didn't matter. But now moving on to phase two, this is the part of my trading journey where I started to question myself, question everything that I was doing, and really question my emotional health during my trading performance and even in my personal life. So this is like from month 3 and 4 all the way to like my 1 year mark of being in the futures market. I didn't really solidify what kind of trading strategy I was doing. I was kind of hopping around, which you might know is not the best thing to do. It's always best to stick to one thing, make sure you're good at it, and then, add on if you want to, but just stick to what works for you. I didn't do that. I didn't have a strong mental capital because of all the things happening in my personal life, both financials and relationship, and with my job with corporate as well. Just a lot of things were starting to fall out the roof, and it was tough. I felt like I didn't have it in me to keep going, and I also had just started on YouTube, started to post on social media, and I also felt that pressure that people were going to judge me, and I was going to feel real, real crappy and really, really anxious every time I posted something, or if I lost, especially in front of a crowd. So it just added more pressure to my shoulders. And at the end of it all, I just asked myself, am I really meant to do this trading thing? Is this really the right thing in general? Or am I just throwing money down the drain that I don't have? Am I wasting my time instead of trying to grow on the corporate ladder or trying to do something else with my life that might work, like drop shipping or e commerce or another type of brand in social media? Why don't I just stop this altogether because I clearly don't have it in me to make it work? But mind you, 3 to 4 months in, it's not a lot of time to really give yourself, in my opinion, to be successful at something. Maybe you might start to gain some knowledge and some skills and develop a better tool set, but I don't think that 3 to 4 months in trading at least is enough to really sustain and to share with yourself, like, hey, I'm really freaking good at this. So, of course, I was going through all of those withdrawals and those doubts and those fears. And then finally, as time kind of progressed over that year, I became a little bit more confident with what I was doing. I finally locked down a better strategy, which is different than what I do now, but a better strategy. I had a little bit more mental capital built up because of the confidence I built from my trading, from the people that I met in the community. I met a lot of great trader friends that I still have to this day. My relationships with my family and people in my life got a lot better. And then, of course, my biological dad passed when things started to, kind of shift again for me. But even then, like during that phase, specifically in trading, I felt like I had a lot more growth than I was expecting. So instead of falling into the statistic of 90% of traders failing before they really give themselves a chance, I decided to continue on and not give up on myself. So moving along now to phase three, which is about the year mark and on. I want to say 1 to 1.5 years. And my next phase will be once I hit 2 years at the end of this year. But in this current phase right now, I'm really trying to focus on how do I make my strategy better? How do I stay consistent with what I know works? And how do I have better control over my emotions and my risk? At the end of the day, those three things are really huge in trading, as you know. A good strategy, really good mental health, or at least your trading psychology, and then also just better control of your emotions and more specifically your risk. That's like the biggest thing to keep you in the game as long as possible. So for me, I'm really trying to hone in on that. I don't feel as stressed or as crappy when I have losing days. Of course, I'm human, it's going to happen. The days where I have extreme anger or extreme sadness or extreme happiness. It's all part of it. But I would like to believe, based on the growth I've seen in my journey, that in this phase, it's a lot better than what it looked like a year ago or a year and a half ago. So in this phase, it's just important for me to stick true to what I know works for me. And if you're in this phase right now, like just keep doing your thing and just know that if you are seeing some growth, whether it's with your trading capital or your mental capital, that's awesome. And just keep on pushing along and trying to become better. Because the final question at the end of everything that you do when it comes to trading is the simple inquiry of, am I doing what I need to do in order to improve? And obviously, you will create that list of things that you know you need to do in order to improve. It could be anything that includes like studying, chart time, spending time aside, like on your weekends or after work. Maybe it's reading or it's breaking down your strategy through back testing. All these things and other things as well on this list that you've created for yourself. That's how you'll know you're improving. If you're doing these things and you see progress in the live market every single day. So this upcoming phase 4 is what I'm going to call it when I hit near my 2-year mark, maybe 1.5 to 2 years. This is the point where I'm going to really push myself to try to stay not only consistent with what I'm doing right now in this phase 3, but also if I can prove to myself that I'm staying consistent with my trading performance, my trading capital and mental capital, which includes obviously emotional and risk management, is to see if I have the ability to scale. I don't know if it's too soon. I wouldn't know because I'm not on phase 4 and I haven't hit that part of my journey yet. But what I will say is that everyone is on a different path. So, although I've talked about my current 3 phases and then my upcoming 4th phase in my journey, because it's important for me to document this for my channel, but for you guys out there, when you are looking back at your journey and your different phases, know that we are all on different paths. No one is on the same path, and that's just a fact. If you look at just even individual lives outside of trading, we might be born in the same area, but we might have different familiar or family issues. Every family has their own things to kind of overcome, and yours is going to be different than mine. Maybe your resume for work is different than mine, and the industry that you're in is different than mine. The amount of money that you make is different than mine. Everyone is going to be different, and that's perfectly okay. And it's so easy to compare ourselves and our journey and what we're doing to everybody else, especially those that post on the internet, like myself. But by no means have I ever said that I am the most consistently profitable trader, because I'm not. The goal is to get there. The goal of this channel is to document the journey, to show that once I do get there, I can look back at everything I've done to this point. So I hope for all the newbies that have come onto my channel, which is quite a lot of you, because I've seen a lot of comments more recently where people are asking about my strategy, asking about, what I'm doing to do what I'm doing now and everything. But it's all about just putting the time, the dedication to the craft, and using your list of things that you know you need to do to improve and always executing on that. So it took me a while to get here. And trust me, again, disclaimer, I'm not the most profitable and consistent trader out there, but I definitely am doing a lot better than I did last year. And that means the world to me. And hopefully you guys can use this video and review your own trading journey and review your phases to remind yourself how far you've come along, whether for the better or for the worse. And if it's not going the best, look at your list of things you need to do to try to improve and really execute on them and really try to tweak them to make sure the action items you're going to take is actually pushing you towards the right direction that you want to reach. Whether that's prosperity in time and financial freedom, taking care of yourself, buying the Lamborghini that you see on the internet, buying a mansion, going to all these trips. It's so important to not only focus on the bigger picture, but also the small wins and really just execute on a daily basis, because all those executions on a daily basis is going to lead to 2-3 years in, and eventually you'll be profitable. Eventually you'll be more consistent with what you do. And, that's how it works. If you look at all the other traders out there. So that's everything I wanted to kind of cover. So just to reiterate, we are all on different paths when it comes to trading. You might become more profitable and consistent than me before I ever reach it. Or you might be comparing yourself to somebody else that has been in this for 15 years and has like 30 different supercars, and you're wishing that you were there and you barely started a week ago. So focus on yourself, focus on, your progress, focus on your phases, recognize the phases, and do what you need to do in order to improve, because at the end of the day, it's always a you versus you game when it comes to trading. Thank you guys so much for your time and support. I hope this video was helpful in some way and just allowing me to share my perspective on my journey and the phases I've been in, and hopefully what can come next in phase 4. As always, I appreciate your time and support. Wish you guys nothing but the best and most success in all that you do, and I will see you all in the next video.